So last meeting we talked about climate change, right? So we have already discussed about this. Now we will have our lesson talking about clocks. Okay, I want you to read. A clock is ready, go.
A clock is a device used to keep track of time. Ancient, or I don't know how to say,
Civilizations. Civil.
civilization
Very good.
measure time by falling sand, flowing water, or the position of the sun. Modern clocks are either digital or have clockwork mechanisms.
Mechanisms.
Mechanism.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much for reading, Lee. So since you had just read what a clock is, so what can you say about this? It says here ancient civilizations measured time by falling sand, flowing water, or the position of the sun. So this is how people before in the ancient times or way back long long time ago, this is how they measure the time because there is no such thing as clocks before. So when the sand falls or the flowing of water or this seemingly or let's just say no not seemingly commonly, okay, commonly known as following the position of the sun, okay, they have been doing this. And now since we are already in the modern world, modern clocks are either what, either
The digital or have
mhm.
clockwork mechanism.
Okay, so modern clocks now are either digital. So we can see now there are digital clocks and there are also clockwork mechanisms. Okay, those clocks that are not digital but just like this, okay, it has mechanisms just like the picture here. So I want you to read how does clock work?
Clocks make regular movements for measuring time. They do they do this using ma- machine
Ma-
machinery
machinery.
machinery machinery known as clockwork. The clock face has moving hands that show the hours, minutes, and seconds.
Okay, that's so good. So, how does clock work? So, there is a regular movement, right? There is a regular movement for measuring time. They do this using machinery known as clockwork. So, the clock, it has what? Moving hands that show the.
Hours,
Mm-hmm,
minutes, and
mm-hmm.
seconds.
Okay, so that's how clock works, and that's how it shows or tells about what the time is. So we have here some parts of the clock, okay, just like this clockwork mechanism. Can you read what they mean by gears?
Years, years are wheels that lock together. In a clock, they make the hands turn at different speeds.
Okay, so in a clock like you see in this picture, so it has gears, and these gears are wheels, okay. These are the gears, okay, and they are locked together in a clock. So the function of these wheels is, or of these gears that looks just as really a wheel. So this makes what? The hands.
Turn at different
Yeah,
speeds.
so the hands are here. So it turns at different speeds. Okay, the hands turns at different speeds because the gear is moving. It helps the hands of the clock to move because the gears is locked together in a clock. Okay. Now next pendulum. Okay, the pendulum. This one, this is a pendulum. Okay, can you read the
Pendulum.
meaning?
Each swing of the pendulum turns the gears on click, usually once a
One click.
second.
Okay,
Yeah.
so have you seen a clock work mechanism like this? Like it has a
Uh,
pendulum, it has gears.
yes.
Okay, So the pendulum, if you had observed that one, Lee, this pendulum here, this used to swing. Okay, this swings. Each swing of the pendulum turns the wheels one click. Okay, usually once a second. Tuck, tuck. Okay, so when the gear moves, the hands moves, okay, and it shows the time, while the pendulum also move together with the gear, one one click or once a second. Tuck, tuck. So if the hands are moving, the pendulum is also swinging once, okay, or one click once a second. So that's how pendulum works. And how about clock face? Okay, what is clock
Clock,
face?
clock face. This part of the clock shows the time in hours, minutes, and seconds.
Okay, so clock face, this is the one that shows the time in hours, minutes, and seconds. So in general, this is called clock face. How about the minute hand? This one.
Minute hands. The long minute hand makes a full turn around the clock every hour.
Okay, so minute hand, the long minute hand makes a full turn around the clock every hour. So this is the minute hand, right? So this makes a full turn, okay, around the clock every hour because this tells the minutes. Okay, what is the time minute of the clock? Okay, so if it's already 5 minutes or 15 minutes, so the minute hand will work every hour. That tells the minute. Okay, now how about the hour hand, the shorter one? Okay.
Hour hand. The short hour hand makes a complete turn around the clock every 12 hours.
Okay, so every 12 hours, the hour hand is working, it's moving. So the short hour hand, it makes a complete turn around the clock every 12 hours. So we can see that this is the one that tells what is the hour already. Okay, so every 12 hours because it's until 12 only. That's the time limit of the clock. It's until 12 hours, so it's moving every 12 hours. So no, not time limit. That is the time frame. So it moves, it goes, it moves, it moves every 12 hours. So that's the one that tells what hour it is already. How about the second hand? Okay, this one.
Second hand. This long thin hand makes a complete rotation of the clock every minute.
Okay, that's good. So this thin hand here, it makes a complete rotation of the clock every minute because this is the one that tells, okay, what what seconds it is already. So then and now, what is the difference? What is the difference of our clock nowadays and the clock before? So before, during the ancient times, since they don't have this clock that works, okay, mechanically, they use this what we call sundial. Okay, can you please read in the past?
In the past, people had sundials, which show the time of day using shadows cast by the sun. Modern
Mm,
digital clocks show times as numbers.
okay. So you will find out later on how the sundial works. Okay, this is the kind of clock that they used before in the ancient times since they don't have a clock yet. But I wanted to read first the first pendulum clock. Lee? Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first pendulum clock was made by Dutch scientist Christian. Um, I don't know how to say.
Huygens.
He Huygens in 1656.
Okay, so the Dutch scientist Christian Huygens in 1656, he was the one who first made the pendulum clock. How about the counterweight? Okay, this one, the counterweight. What is the function of this?
A counterweight. This weight stores energy so the clock can work without a battery.
Okay, so a clock like this, so it can work without a battery. There is what we call counterweight. So this is the one that stores energy so the clock can work. Now I want to show you what the sundial looks like. This one. Okay, just look at this video first.
Spot. Rotate the sundial. So the gnomon. To read a sundial, first place the sundial on a flat surface in a sunny spot. Rotate the sundial so the gnomon, or the pin on the sundial that casts a shadow, is pointing north if you're in the northern hemisphere, or south if you're in the southern hemisphere. Then, look where the shadow cast by the gnomon falls on the sundial. The number the shadow lines up with is what time it is. For example, if the shadow lines up with the 3 on the sundial, it's 3 p.m. If the shadow falls between two numbers, the time is somewhere between those 2 hours. For example, if the shadow falls halfway between the 8 and the 9 on the sundial, it's 8:30 a.m. Sundials typically only have 12 hours on them, the 12 daylight hours, since they can't be used at night. Keep in mind that the time on a sundial doesn't change based on the time zone you're in, or daylight saving time. So the time you read on a sundial could be different from the time on your watch by a significant margin.
Okay, so just a simple illustration of how sundial clock works. Now let's go back. Okay, so that's how sundial works. So they are still following the position of the sun. Okay, so they can only measure the time by the day, okay, or daytime. But they cannot measure the night time, right? Only daytime. So they just follow the shadow cast by the sun. So that's sundial clock. Now let's proceed to the story of clothing. Okay. We know that it's very strange how generation from generations evolved, no, not just into what we are now technologically, but how we evolve in the world of fashion. So let's read. Over time, okay, can you please read it? Ready, go.
Over time, the things we wear have changed a lot. The clothes that people wear often reflect where they live, what jobs they do, and how much money they have. Clothes are generally made from wooden ma- materials such as cotton, wool, or silk with special designs. They are often worn for show, but can also be practical or even worn for fun.
Okay, so you can see here the first clothes before. Okay, so it's really very weird for us if we were like this in this generation. People will really be looking at you. What on earth is this person wearing this kind of clothes? So before, the clothes they wear just simply tells what kind of life they have, if they are rich or they are poor, what kind of job they have and how much money they have, because each clothes represent their status in life. Okay, if you wear this kind of clothes, you're really somewhat like a royal or in a royalty family, and if you wear this kind of cloth, you're just coming from the lower class. Okay, like that. So clothes before are from woven material such as cotton, wool, or silk with special designs. They are often worn for show, right? It says here. And what makes it more weird is it is made of some sort of animal skin. So can you please read first clothes? Ready, go.
First clothes. The first people wore clothes made of animal skin to keep out the cold and wet. They later discovered how to clip the wool off the sheep's back and spin it into a thread that could be woven to make material.
Okay. So I'm sorry. So the first clothes of the first people or the ancient people before it's made of animal skins. So to keep them from cold and wet, so they have different styles that are made from commonly sheep. Okay, so they were able to discover this clip from a sheep's back, and then they spin it into a thread, and now it makes into a woven that makes a material like this. And it evolves from time to time until during the Roman times. Okay, please read. The Roman emperor
The
Lee.
Roman the Roman Emperor Nero wore a purple toga and punished anyone else
Punished.
who wore purple punish anyone else who wore purple with death.
Okay, so this is a toga. Okay, let me introduce to you a toga. So this is a toga, and the toga is wrapped around the body. Okay, this is wrapped around the body, and it's thrown over the left shoulder. Usually, it's really used on the left shoulder part. And Roman Emperor Nero, which is very famous as a notorious emperor, he usually punished anyone who wore purple with death. So what are Roman clothes? Okay, can you please read?
Roman cloth, the main item of clothing for ancient Romans, was a simple tunic. For special occasions, men wore a long piece of cloth called a toga on top of their tunic. Women wore a woolen shawl called a falla.
Okay, so this is a tunic, okay, the one inside, and this is the toga, okay, the one that is worn outside, thrown over the left part of the shoulder. So that's the Roman clothes, okay, tunic, toga, and women wear shawl called a pallia. And then, okay, how about, okay, hold on, okay, this one, okay, this long embroidered dress. What is this? It's made of
Silk.
made of silk. So it's made of silk. It's so sassy. It's so classy. And if you look at it, this is really something that really is so. I should say you're looking like really a royalty if you were like this in this modern world, right? But this is what makes the clothing before special. But this is also very hot, I think so, and I think it's itchy. So we have it here also, like other, yeah, court finery. But can you please read this one? Okay, ready, go.
Court finery in the royal court of Europe in the 1500s and 1600, men and women were special,
You can say like the
expensive
1500s and 1600s.
1500 and 1600. Men and women wore special, expensive clothing. The women wore long, embroidered dress, while the men wore padded jacket with short trousers and silk stockings.
So wait, in the royal courts of Europe in 1500s and 1600s, so men and women wear special expensive clothing. So when they are in royal courts, okay, especially in Europe, they don't appear there with just a simple clothing. They wear special expensive clothing. Like if you can just imagine, women wear long dress, embroidered dresses, okay, and the men wear padded jackets, but their short trousers are silk, are made in silk stockings. Let me show it to you. Wait, just like this. Padded. Padded shorts with cloth with silk. Roman times. Okay, it's not really. Wait. Okay. It's not so clear in the picture, but they really wear. Wait, let me. Maybe we can just have the video. Okay, just to show you, we only have 1 minute left. Okay, just a few minutes. Okay, since it's already time, maybe I will just show you a video next meeting. So, okay, so we have here a sari. A sari is used by Indian people, and we also have kimono, which are used by Japanese people. Okay, let me just add. Have 1 minute left. Okay, it's already time. We'll just add a little bit. So this one is sari. Okay, this is sari, and this one is kimono. Kimono is used by Japanese people. And what is this? Lee, can you please read it? What is tied at the back?
The kimono is tied at the back with an obi or sash.
Okay, so there's a sash at the back that is called obi. That is what traditional costumes of Japanese people is like, and sari is for Indian people. So we'll continue this next meeting, and I'll be showing you some sort of pictures or videos, so you will have a more visual imagery and clear illustration of what does it really look like, especially during ancient times. Roman clothing, we'll go back on that a little bit. Some videos that I will show you, a short video, and then we will tackle this one. Okay, the different clothings, especially in different cultures. Thank you so much, Lee. Do you have some questions?
I don't have a question.
Okay, thank you. I hope you understand our class. I hope you have a great night. You're doing good. You're performing good tonight. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye. Have a good night.
Good night.